You received funding recently. Your MAHC has received some funding. So let's talk about that first.
Yeah, we're really excited to have received $2.3 million from the Ministry of Health. It is one-time money. It's not money that's gone to our base, and it does allow us to balance this year. In the year 16-17.
So was this something that you were expecting, that you had applied for? How did it go? What was behind the scenes into getting this funding?
Well, we have had conversations with the Ministry of Health around our structural deficits. So we do believe that the funding formula that's out there doesn't address the unique needs of medium-sized hospitals. So we have been in constant conversations with the Ministry of Health, including actually meeting with a minister staff member just before Christmas. And we were led to believe at that time, based on our conversations, that they understood our problem and were looking to provide us with some support. And we've now seen that through the funding that they've given us.
So then you said it's one-time funding. So what does that mean for after? You have the funding to balance the budget, but
what it means for us is that given the fiscal year we were in, which is April 2016 to March 31st, 2017, we were projecting a deficit of about $2.3 million.
Okay.
So with this funding, we can indicate that we have balance this year. But as of April 1st, of this year, we're back in the same boat because the deficit that was resolved for the 1 year carries over into the next year. And then on top of that, we have other inflationary pressures that will be added on top of that projection of 2.3, which will place us in a deficit position once again.
So then, what has or what is MAHC planning then for the next year? Applying for more funding, or what's going on now in terms of trying to address this issue?
Well, we'll continue to talk to the Ministry of Health and see if we can get to some resolution that actually helps us with the structural issues that we're having. One-time funding doesn't help us. I mean, clearly we're very receptive and appreciative that we received those money, but we really want to put a permanent fix to the funding shortfall that we think we're receiving through the funding formula. One thing that I can say is that we are aware that the medium-sized hospitals have been informed by the ministry and by the OHA, who was lobbying on our behalf, that there will be some intensive work done on the funding formula this year that they believe may provide a fix for other medium-sized hospitals as well as ourselves in Ontario. So we're looking forward to those changes being made.
Now, you say a permanent fix, do you have an idea or I guess a concept that maybe you would like to see as this permanent fix to address this issue?
Well, one of the things that the funding formula doesn't address right now is multi-site organizations. When they developed the funding formula, it was really built on single-site organizations. Our particular issue here is that we're not inefficient per se, but we're operating two buildings. And when you operate two buildings and you spread volumes between two buildings like that, you do then have some inherent inefficiencies. And you also have to put in some additional staff that you might not have had to do if you had all the volumes under one roof.
Right.
So that is an issue that we're experiencing because we actually have two sites. So it would be great for some of that realization to be addressed within the funding formula for us.
Now, I mean, now that I have you here, I have to ask you, speaking of the two sites, is this the whole concept of that one site model that was discussed before, is that still kind of on the table, or is it on hold? Where we are with that?
Well, at the moment, the Muskokan Area System Transformation Group is doing their work on healthcare system transformation here in Muskoka area. And so at this point, one could say that we're in a bit of a pause mode, waiting to see what the outcomes of the model that are being derived by that group are, and some of the other funding and governance aspects around healthcare that hope to be recommended by this group. I actually sit on some of the planning work representing acute care, and I can say that I've been very, very impressed with the commitment of people in our community and other stakeholders in terms of their significant involvement in some of the planning work that's going on. So I think it makes sense that when we have a better understanding of what the services will look like, or what the model of care will be in Muskoka, that will then have impact on the design and potential future of the hospital. And at that point, we'll be in a better position to really have a potentially a better look at what the model should be for the hospital in the future.